Alright guys, welcome back. So this video has been a long time coming. This is my first post in like 2 weeks. I'm finally mostly done with moving. So between moving and work, I just didn't really have the time or motivation to code and record and edit it all. So I haven't actually coded in like 2 weeks before last night. I coded this all at like 10 to midnight. So it was pretty painful, I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't get as much done as I would have hoped for in this video because I ran into a big error about halfway through and it took me like 45 minutes to figure it all out. So there wasn't too much done. It was mainly just a lot of smaller stuff that I wanted to get done, and I realize now that there was one thing that I forgot to do that I planned to do, but it's whatever. We can throw that into our next devlog. But for now, let's hop right into it. Alright, so the first thing that I did was add a world border using the collision polygon 2D node, making it so I could easily shape the collision shape around our world, so it would prevent our player and also the bats from wandering out of the world, because I was having the issue with the bats were just wandering out into the void. So we prevented that. Next up, I wanted to add bat spawning, because at the moment we just placed our bats in individually, and when they died they were gone completely. So here I add in 5 spawn points. Now as you see there, I try to use the position 2D node because the tutorial I was watching was a little bit outdated. It was from Godot 3, so in Godot 4 the position 2D node has been renamed to the marker 2D. So I figured that out right after this. So I placed in 5 marker 2Ds right where I had the bats already, because I kind of liked where they were evenly spread out. So I put in those markers right here, and then I end up deleting the bats right after. So the plan is to just keep it capped at 5 bats. I might increase it later. I might also add more spawn points. It depends. Keep it capped at 5 bats, and then make it so there's a 10-second respawn delay. That way you don't kill one and they just respawn right back immediately. So that's what I got to working on here, and then I think we just code the next bit, so I'll be back when we're done with that. Alright, so we're not quite done here, but I figured I'd just point this out. I was having an issue with this line of code, and it took me a minute to figure it out, but it was actually really simple. I just accidentally typed a 1 instead of an I, which was messing the entire thing up. So that was a pretty easy fix, and that allowed me to get back. Unfortunately, that was not the worst error we came across tonight. So you'll see that when it comes. Alright, now the coding is done and we finally have our bat spawning code and mechanic done. We have to go test it out. So I was going to add a light to the bat to make them easier to see here. I'm not 100% sure why I didn't do that. It would have saved me time, so not 100% sure why I made that decision. I was tired, I don't know. But I did end up making the camera larger, that way I could see pretty much the whole map at once. And when I went to test it out, it didn't even load. So I figured out the issue here was that when we were trying to spawn in the bats and call the bat scene, it wasn't working. It wasn't actually connected. So all we had to do here is in the inspector, under bat scene, we actually had to attach the bat scene. So now that we have that attached, it should work. When we load in, it's kind of hard to see the bats at first. So I did exit out, and we do have an error. It looks like I ignored it at first. I'm not 100% sure what I'm doing here, but we load back in to test it out. I was actually like 4 inches from my monitor, in order to do this because it was really hard to see the bats. And I end up adding that point light that I was talking about earlier. I end up adding that anyway, which I think we do that right here. Yep. So I ended up just making it a square because it wasn't going to stay. It was temporary. So I just made it a bright square. That way I'd be able to see the bat from wherever I was. And as you see now, it works perfectly. We can tell where every single bat is. And now we have to actually make sure the respawn function is working, because it looks like they are spawning in their random positions. So we wait a couple seconds, and if we look at the top of the screen, there's one, and there's the other. So our respawn mechanic does seem to be working. That is good. The only issue is this error. This is the error that I was talking about earlier. I seem to ignore it for a bit. And as you see here, I went back to adding the health bar, which I had removed in the previous episode, I think, because it's in the way of the pickaxe. I just resized it a few times to make it look somewhat decent. Might change it later. I'm not 100% sure. And to the comment on my last video telling me that I could use a node for the health bar, I don't remember the exact node he was talking about, but I had used it before in a previous project. It just didn't match the art style exactly, and I kind of wanted everything to blend nicely, so that's the reason I just made my own health bar. But I do know what you were talking about, and I agree that probably would have been a bit easier. So for now, I'm just trying to resolve this error the best I can. I'm pretty sure the reason that we were having this issue was it was trying to call something to do with the bats. It was trying to call the bat scene or reference the bat scene after the bat had already died. So if I'm not mistaken, what I did to fix this was I simply separated it so it wasn't directly attached to the bat scene anymore, and it worked independently. And it seemed to work. The video ends almost immediately after I figured out it worked, because I was just so excited that it worked and happy that I could finally go to bed. So there's not much footage after that. So this video is almost done. But as we see here, now that we can play the game and there's no more error every time we close out. So this video is starting to come to an end now. In the next video, I think we're going to be working on our game tutorial from previously. We're going to be doing episode 3 of that, because I did say I was going to add a new enemy, and honestly, it'd be nice to get a little switch up. So that's what we're going to be working on next. But then the next devlog for this game, I think I'm going to go over a roadmap. I've been thinking of some ideas on where I want to go. So yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video, and I hope you guys stay tuned for the next one. Thank you for watching.